Today I want to introduce you to one of my favorite divination decks. This is called the Book of Doors Divination Deck, an alchemical oracle from ancient Egypt. It's by Athon Veggie and Allison Davidson, and it focuses specifically on the works of, I'm probably pronouncing this wrong, but the last name is Schwaller Lubitsch, who's a symbologist and has done extensive writings on ancient Egypt. So, really cool book. It breaks down various families, basically, of ancient Egyptian Nichiru. Tepi Aun, the family of the eight primordials; Pet, the family of heaven; Akut, the family of fire; Ah, the family of moon; Ra, the family of the sun; Nef, the family of the wind; Ta, the family of earth; and then, of course, the last, the Duat, the family of Duat. So there's eight deities, or eight Nichiru, associated with each of the families. And what's really cool about this particular deck is the method that is used for performing a divination. Now, as you can see on here, we've got the families broken down, that we just covered on the left side here, and an 8x8 grid, and each of the eight Nichiru in each of the families. And what you get with this is an 8-sided die. So basically, to perform a divination with this deck and using this chart, you cast the die twice. So I have an 8 and a 5. So I'm going to come over here, go to my 8 and down to my 5th, which represents the family. And the Nietzsche for this particular one is Asar, also known as Osiris in the Greek world. So let's see if we can, I'll kind of go through the cards so you can actually get a get. Oh, wouldn't you know, he's right there near the front. So when I just want to pull a one-card oracle, this is such a great deck for doing it. And one of the best things about this particular oracle deck is how informative it is on each of the ancient Egyptian gods or sacred principles. Because remember, the ancient Egyptians did not have a word for God. Their word nature, and I'm probably pronouncing it wrong, is similar to the word nature. I think one is derived from the other. And these are considered sacred principles. So let's just look it up. So we've got Asar, obviously in the family of the sun. So he's the 5th one. Look when you know he's the 8th one in it. So let's go take a peek. And we will find Asar. So usually it gives the hieroglyph associated with the name. And this last character is called a determinative. So this basically is the simple meaning it's a male sacred principle. His name meaning he who has seen. So it's really great because it goes into detail about Asar in the various Egyptian cosmologies and what their powers are and what is important about their particular sacred principle. So you really do learn a lot. And then it'll give you kind of a short divinatory meaning at the end. So Asar meaning death for resurrection, the necessity to let go of attachments, mystical revelation, and of course, as was prominent in the ancient world, Asar is part of the dying god, rising god myths that were so prevalent even as far back as the ancient Sumerian culture. So, pretty cool. And like I said, a unique method of doing so with the 8-sided die. And if you're familiar with the Hermopolitan or Theban cosmology, it even has 8 gods known as the Theban Ogdode. So 8 is a pretty important number, especially in that particular cosmology. So let's just consider that our oracle for the day. Maybe it's time for some new things to be reborn. And if you've seen some of my previous videos, whether on Knoxville Rose or Temple of Mont Knoxville, rebirth has been a pretty consistent theme lately. And I feel like that's kind of what we're going through on a planetary level too, kind of the birthing pains of a new eon or the next generation of our civilization as humans. Anyway, I thought you might enjoy learning a little bit about this deck. I highly recommend it if you want to learn more about ancient Egypt, the Kemetic Nichiru, and each one of them individually. I encourage you to get this deck. Definitely one of my favorites. And since Elsar came up so quickly when we were going through the cards, I was hoping to show you a few more of them. I'm going to flash through some. There's Atum, Happy, the god of the Nile. Neith, who's actually from the Ubaid cultures, I believe it's called, the pre-dynastic cultures. Neith is actually a very ancient goddess of spinning and weaving, and I like to think of her as the matrix. Mut, the vulture goddess. Mother. Kekuyu, which I'm really not sure about those particular pronunciations, but this is one of the Theban Nichiru that I was referring to earlier, the Ogdode, the Theban Ogdode, and they appear as frog-headed and snake-headed primordial deities responsible for creation. There's another one. You can see the snake-headed, Hehut. Khonsu, we know Khonsu is a moon god. Ammit, one of the devourer gods in the Hall of Mati. Alset, we also know as Isis, with her son Horus there. The Shemsu 42, the 42 assessors. Apep, again, devouring in the Duat, or the underworld. Akaru, which is always a gateway. This card almost always means there's a gateway or portal to something else or something new. So yeah, just a few. One of my favorites, Newt. Traditional imagery. So yeah, definitely check out this deck. Some power there. And it does use some basic concepts too, like the boat that goes through the underworld at night. And she's actually a borrowed goddess, Astaroth, but was incorporated into the Egyptian cosmologies as well. So yeah, check this deck out. Hope you've enjoyed this little introduction to the Book of Doors.